TJ Morrison, Tap Out and Talk Tuesdays.
What's going on, everyone? I am joined with Caolan Loughran. He is set to return at UFC 304 when he takes on Ramon Taveras. Caolan, how you doing?
Never battle out. How you?
I'm doing great. The last time we talked, you were preparing to go overseas to come to the States and fight Angel Pacheco. This time it's, not directly in your backyard, but going from Ireland to Manchester. How you feeling about this fight?
Unbelievable. But I obviously am an Irish man, but I do my training camps here in Liverpool. So
Hmm.
I'm fucking 40 minutes away from the arena right now, and
Oh, wow.
have been the last couple of months. So it's not quite a homecoming because obviously I'm an Irish man that's in the UK, but it's as close to the gym as we're ever gonna get, really. Like, and where I do my camp. So I feel unbelievable. Like, I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm heading up probably Monday, Tuesday. Honestly,
Mhm.
it's a 40-minute drive, so handy as fuck.
I'll always ask fighters, when are you preparing to leave for this fight? But for you, it's again a 40-minute drive, like you mentioned. Does that kind of play into a factor of like, okay, on fight week, I don't have to travel far, and that, helps with things like the weight cut and all that.
Course.
Talk about how much it helps being, you're literally fighting in your backyard to a certain degree.
Yeah. Well, I obviously the time changes. Time is absolutely fucked. We're fighting in the middle of the night. I'm not too bad, but I heard Paddy Pimlet's been saying like the American guys are at an advantage because they're onto that time schedule. I don't agree with that at all. I think if it were me, like if I would say if I was had done my training camp in your time, I would fly to here, fly to the UK. I'd probably end up half acclimatizing to UK time, and then have to try and worry about fighting at nights would be like a double change for me. But you can't beat it, lad. Like, my coaches plan to still take like, because I'll probably only do like a run in the morning, then one MMA session on fight week, like light, just sweat really. So they plan to coach in the gym, travel to and from. It's a half an hour drive, 40-minute drive from the gym. So I can even be in the gym. I could even sleep in my own bed, really, if I want to on fight week. Like, so obviously the novelty of like flying to Vegas stuff, that's going to be cool. But this time round, it just seems so handy. I'm literally going to drive up to the co-op, drive up to Manchester, and fight Ramon Tavares. Like, you couldn't beat it, lad. It's unbelievable. So handy.
Yeah, you're the, second fight on the prelims, which is scheduled to start at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Local time there. It's great for us here. It's great for us here in the States. For me, that's, starting at 8 p.m. It's a great time.
I know, but it's fucked for us over here.
Yeah. So, I mean, that projects you to probably be fighting around what, like two in the morning or so, maybe 1:30 in the morning local.
1:30 probably, something like that.
Yeah. I feel most bad for Leon and Bilal. They're fighting at like 6 in the morning.
Yeah,
They're
it's. Do you know what, lad? I don't even know what you do. I heard Leon talking about how he has like sleep specialists and all of this here, but I think he's like, who could possibly be a specialist and how to perform at that in the middle of the night? Like, nobody knows. Like, it's guesswork, really. I think maybe Leon and Tom, like, they may get sleep and then wake up. Like, see if you're like Paddy or Arnold Allen and you're fighting like 4 a.m. I don't know what the fuck they probably can't sleep. Like, if I thought I was fighting at 4 a.m., there's no way at like 11 or 12 I'd be fit to sleep. Like, I'd be bouncing. Like, there's no way I'd be fit to sleep. So I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do. Like, just a fucked situation. Probably more so for like the fans of like the UK fans who are like dying to see Tom and Leon and stuff defend their belts, and now they can't bring their kids because it's like over 18 now to go to the event because of the times, and that's stay up during the middle of the night. Like, so it's fuck, lad. But in terms of fighting for, like, it's the same with both guys. So what can you do? I'm not too bad. 120 is not that bad realistically, but for the main event, boys, like, it's fucked. No two ways about it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it probably affects the after party too. Might have to delay that one by a day.
So my after party is basically going to be watching the rest of the fights. That's the way my friends look at it. get a few hours sleep, and then we're gonna drive back to Liverpool, and we've got an Irish bar here sorted for the whole day for the Sunday. Like there's a thing called the All Ireland, like Gaelic football in Ireland's a big thing. So like the final of that's on the next day. So they're gonna sit and watch the fights with the bar being open, which is class. Have a few hours sleep and then hit the road for Liverpool and go for the day too.
Yeah, well, I'll
Sounds
say
good.
this, from the American perspective, it's nice to, it's the fights are in prime time, but also say this
Yeah,
that like had they put it in prime time for you guys, it wouldn't have been middle of the night for us here in the States.
that's what I'm. Yeah,
It would have been like the prelim starts at, 1 p.m. Let's say the prelims start at 3 p.m. and the main card starts at like 6. Therefore, it starts at, maybe 11 overseas because you guys are for me on the East Coast of the States, it's 5 hours ahead. So
yeah. So
I
that'll be
think it's,
okay. Surely,
yeah, it's a
that'll be.
really, it's an interesting choice by the UFC to say the least.
I don't know. When Bisping fought here against Dan Henderson, I think that was UFC 204. Now this is 304. It was the same, and Bisping, but Bruce Buffer was announcing Bisping at 5:30 a.m. Just fucking nuts. Like I don't. There's
Yeah,
no two ways about it. Like it's fucking nuts.
yeah, that's something I didn't even consider is how is Bruce Buffer going to hold up over that whole card? Bruce at 6 in the morning. I'm sure he'll still be there doing his thing.
Oh, 100%. Tin's a monster movie, something like that.
Yeah, and I'll ask you this too. Your last two fights, obviously in France, they were booing you, they're booing you into whatever. Uh, the crowd wasn't as brutal in the States, I hope. I feel like it was also earlier in the card and uh
Yeah,
and that's something I'll ask you in a bit. But just going for this fight, I know it's in the UK, but there's gonna be a lot of Irish fans. You're one of 3 Irish fighters on this card.
yeah.
The crowd's going to be very behind you, which is different, the exact opposite of how it's been for you in your first two UFC fights. How much of a difference does that make?
Well, it's nice. Like I'll enjoy it, but it actually doesn't. I don't actually give a fuck if you cheering me
Yeah.
or booing me. Like a good fighter is good at zoning that out, regardless. Like you know what I mean. As long as there's like an energy around the cage and there's interest in the fight, I'm happy. You know what I mean. But I don't care. People cheer me or boo me. I say I'm an Irishman, but there's a lot of Irish people coming over, my friends and family, and there's three Irish fighters in the yard. But I train here in Liverpool, so it's quite close to the gym. There's also two other Scouse fighters fighting, so I think it's going to be a lot of support for me. Like probably something that Ramon's never experienced, if I'm being brutally honest. Uh, well, he did fight a Canadian in Canada, but I don't think it'll be like this. Like I can't see it being the same. But a good fighter doesn't really affect them whether it's pro or cons for you. Like, but it'll be nice, a nice change. Better than Paris, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, certainly in France, I know that fight with Taylor Lapilus didn't go the way you wanted to, but you really just embraced the boos, obviously flipping them off at the weigh-ins and just
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
created, that created so much more interest in the fight.
Of course,
That
of course.
but I do want to ask though, how would you compare the fans in France versus the fans at Atlantic City?
To be fair, at the minute, like I give them a lot of stick, but the French is kind of like the French MMA. Their crowd is kind of the hub for Europe at the moment. Even with the PFL, the like Cedric Doumbé and that, their crowds are on. It's probably, to be honest, I've never experienced anything like that before or since with the French. Like again, when I was in there, you don't really hear it that much. But then I was watching videos back when I was fighting, and it's like they've got the French national anthem going, and they're doing this foot stomp. I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't even know that happened. I honestly didn't even, until I watched it back. I was like, geez, that's insane. So I'd have to be honest, I never seen anything like. To be fair, whenever I came back out and I was sitting beside my brother and that down the front row, and Chris Weidman was walking out, and he's obviously from that region. It was fucking lethal. It was deadly to like Chris Weidman. Jesus Christ, a legend of the sport. What some of the best moments like that Anderson Silva knockout fucking speaks for itself. Unbelievable career. And when his walkout music came on, it was just obviously like symbolic. That tune, and then he's from that region. That was class. But probably, to be honest, I've never seen anything like France. No, no, never seen anything like it.
No, I can, as someone who was in the crowd at Atlantic City, I can tell you,
Yeah,
I would have been surprised if you had said the Atlantic City crowd. It was it's a nice
yeah,
venue, but it also
yeah.
is not the biggest venue, Atlantic City, and It was
Mm.
not full capacity at all. Uh,
Uh,
I completely agree with you. As someone who's there, I was not there credentialed. I was just there strictly as a fan. The highlight,
yeah,
the highlight of that entire card, as from a fan perspective, was watching Chris Weidman walk out. That
yeah, it
was,
was sick.
yeah, that really just took over the stadium that night in a way.
Yeah, it
Um,
was sick.
but I know this is something I've now asked you multiple times, and I feel like with the rise of Ian Gary, we're getting closer. The UFC's got to go back to Ireland. I'm sure if they do, they'll put you on that card. But talk to me about UFC Ireland.
Um, it's been a goal of mine since I was a kid. Like the moment that McGregor knocked out Diego Brandao, I was in school. I couldn't afford a ticket. I couldn't get afford a ticket to UFC Dublin that time, but of course, I remember watching it. I remember where I was. I think every kid in school in Ireland remembers where they were when that happened. He grabbed the microphone. He goes, "One of us go to war and all that, and all that." Or sorry, and he goes, "We're not here to take part." Sorry. Um, unbelievable, unbelievable moment, and there and then became a goal for me, 100%. But we have to keep winning. There's no to it. They're not going to come to Ireland unless the Irish fighters are winning. I'm now 1-0 this year. I fully expect to go 2-0 next Saturday night, and then I've got a call out for a very quick turnaround a couple months after to go 3-0 in the UFC. That'll be my plan of this best case scenario. And after that, then fuck me. Ian's doing his thing. Um, I don't know what, like, he's probably one or two away from a title. Like, it probably not be now or never if he's going to come to Dublin, to be honest, because he's going to be over in Vegas, I'd imagine. But if I keep winning, he keeps winning. Absolutely no reason why it can't happen. It would literally be a dream come true for me. The Three Arena is quite small, but Dana said it was the most, like, the noisiest event he ever seen in his life. So there's not like a lot. I went to watch shitty Bellator fucking a month ago in it, and like the fights and stuff were half boring, but like the crowd in that arena in Dublin, it's just an unbelievable city, an unbelievable vibe, deadly place. So no, that'll be an absolute. It would literally be a dream come true. And sure, if that happened, then I got to inspire one kid the way that McGregor did whenever he inspired me that night in Dublin. That'll be literally a dream come true. So please God it happens. I think it will. I think it will, to be honest.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because obviously of how things kind of age over time. Like when Diego Brandao and McGregor fought that night in Ireland, it was not the biggest venue, but that remains 10 years later one of the greatest crowds we've ever seen. Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and right along with when he knocked out Mendez, for the interim. Talk to me
Unbelievable.
talk to me about as an Irish fighter, what it was like for you as a kid watching Conor McGregor growing up.
Mad, like, because well, me and McGregor just made up about at that Bellator I was on, but he had unfollowed me and stuff. But I think we've made up. um, Crazy lad. Like, as a kid, out of into this game at 16, and he put a lot of eyes on us. Like, literally changed the game. Like, like, obviously he had a massive impact on in America and the sport worldwide. But like, he's 2 hours, 2.5 hours away from my house. That's where he grew up. That's where he lived. That's where he does training camps. Like, and yeah, it was the same man that come through. Like Irish MMA circles are very small. Like, if you go to the shows, the amateur shows and the regional shows, it's the same faces backstage every single time. So there's about 7 gyms, really. It's the same people you see every time. So to see a man do that and make it the whole way to win the UFC world title and then win 2 UFC world titles, it's like crazy, crazy to think it even happened. So now it inspired me, inspired Ian, inspired a generation of fighters from here, brought a lot of eyes onto it, and fair fucking play. I'm like, how could you not praise a man like that? One of the greatest you ever done, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you don't need me to tell you how much Conor McGregor has done for the sport, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's incredible here, all the Irish fighters, how much he really said, when one of us goes to war, we all go to war, and how much he really,
yeah, man.
when Conor was in his prime, it wasn't just about him, it was about him and the entire country, and he had the whole nation behind him.
Those to see like the Mendes fight, and he had like the walkout and the
Yeah.
flag and just the crowd. I was like, probably the best UFC event I ever seen in my life.
Yeah, one of the greatest walkouts ever is when they got Sinead
Yeah,
O'Connor
yeah,
to sing Foggy
yeah,
Dew
yeah.
live.
Absolutely unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Um, do you think McGregor's gonna fight this year? And if it is the Chandler fight, how do you think that plays out?
I think there's talk of December now, is there? Like, I don't know. I say I was talking to him at, what was that, about 4 weeks, 3 weeks ago now. He looked physically phenomenal, to be honest. Big, but he was limping with the toe, wasn't he? That was literally like the week he pulled out or something. I think there's talk of December. Who knows? I hope so. I definitely hope so. And if this call out, I come when next Saturday doesn't happen, then fucking throw me the first fight of the night. Absolutely, that'll be dream come true for me. Put a lot of eyes on it from Ireland because I have a huge following over here in Ireland now. Like a lot of people obviously like McGregor, but a lot of people now don't like McGregor as well. A lot of people like me in Ireland or follow me, so that'll be fucking cool. Um, I think it happens in December. And if I'm being honest, Chandler, he's been made look like a dickhead. That's just a side note, just the way he's been held out. But if I'm being honest, I think it's probably as good a fight as McGregor could get on the comeback. If it's not going to be like a Tony or a Nate Diaz, I think Chandler is stupid enough to fight that fight against McGregor. Even if he does wrestle, I think wrestling makes Michael Chandler very tired because he explodes. He doesn't really have jiu-jitsu to go with it. He's just like an unbelievable scrambler. And he just wants to have a scrap. So that'll be stupid. I think he would come in trying to have a scrap with McGregor is fucking dangerous.
Mhm.
And he's been dropped a lot, Chandler. So if I'm being honest, I'd favour McGregor to win that fight. I think it's one of the better matchups for him. Like 155 is killer's row. Them boys are the top of that division is like fuck me. Animals. Arman Saryukian and Charles the Bronx and these boys. Like if I'm him looking at the division, I would want to fight Michael Chandler, put it that way, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. Not John Eric. What's his name? Ariel Helwani reported that they're targeting December's not booked
Yeah,
yet. It does look like that's the current planned date for Conor
deadly.
McGregor. By the way, I gotta give you a shout out. I love I'm a Philly kid, so I love the Philadelphia sweatshirt.
Oh, I didn't even. Yeah, man. Are you from Philadelphia? Yeah, fuck, I
Yeah,
know.
I'm originally from outside of Boston. I go to school now in Philadelphia and live there full time. So that's kind and that's definitely my city. It's
Oh,
Philadelphia.
sick. So I got this on the when I was at Atlantic City fight. I was just on the airport home. I always like to buy something from. So just thought, fuck, I'll throw it on me. I actually never really wore this since the fight. To be honest, just got it because it's cold out here in Liverpool. But I got this in the airport in Philly.
Oh yeah, that's you know what? It's funny that that worked out. That when you're interviewing me, I'm a big Philly guy. I've
Sick.
been a big advocate for the UFC to go to Philly for whatever that's worth. But anyways, big shout out to you for the sweatshirt and you're welcome to Philly anytime, my man.
Lethal City. Lethal City.
You mentioned that you have a call out in mind. I'm not gonna make you give away that name, but if you look,
Rosas.
but looking ahead for you, what are your goals for the end of the year? You know, obviously it's for you, it's going to start with a win over Ramon Tavares, but by the end of
Yeah.
2024, what are you hoping to accomplish?
Well, I obviously can't look past Ramon. This is the fucking UFC. Look, everyone's got their fucking their skills, their strengths. You can knock me clean out next Saturday, then I've got no call out. They don't only get an interview. But I'm gonna call out Ra Rosa Jr. for the sphere. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna grab the microphone and say Dana and Hunter's probably gonna be in the front row. I'm gonna tell them 7 weeks to the day I'm ready to go. Even if this is a fucking scrap and he fucking breaks my nose and I break my two hands on his head and I can't train him for 2, 3 weeks, I'll fight him no problem 7 weeks later. So
Yeah.
Dana White says the sphere is gonna be a one and done and the best sporting event ever. Well, I fucking believe him, and I'd love to be a part of it. So, Rosa says he's looking at an opponent. He says he's looking top 15. He's not gonna. He doesn't hasn't earned a top 15. So I put on a good performance on a big pay per view next Saturday night. Again, it's on American times. As fucked as that is, it's a lot of eyes gonna be watching. So I grab a microphone, call him out. It probably puts me in a good position to get it. To be honest, we're in similar position to the UFC. I get right bit of views and shit for my weigh-ins and interviews and stuff like that there, and Arsenal behind me, so it will make sense, and I'll be ready to go. So I've got Ramon next Saturday night, tough fight, dangerous man, big left hand, but when I put him away, I'm gonna grab a microphone and call for Rosas 7 weeks to the day. And then if another one came up in December, who knows? But that's what I'm looking at the minute. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love that fight. I think with
Yeah,
the personalities, I mean, obviously he's like still 20, but you guys are
yeah, it's
still,
crazy.
but you guys are both still young on the rise in bantamweight. Both,
Yeah,
relatively new to the UFC. You've been here
yeah,
for,
yeah,
a year and a half at this point, but you're
yeah.
still young in your UFC career. The Bear Days are ahead of you, and Rosas in the same boat. I love that. I honestly didn't even think about it until you just mentioned it. I think
Yeah,
that'd be a fantastic fight.
yeah. No, 100%. He has skill, but he's very immature and fights quite silly, if I'm being honest. I think Ramon's probably a tougher fight. Just Ramosas has that name value, and that's what I'm after. Someone like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, totally. I would love to see it. Caolan Loughran, my final question for you. July 27th, UFC 304 at 2 in the morning. Caolan Loughran, Ramon Taveras. Give me your official prediction.
I think I'm gonna take his game away from him, make him tired, and stop him late second round or late third. And if you want a prediction, I think I'm gonna get a submission. I haven't submitted anybody in a long time, but that'll be a late second or early third submission.
Fair enough. Well, Caolan, I'm wishing you the best of luck. That's going to be an awesome fight. If you got any socials, people, sponsors you want to shout out, go right ahead. The platform is yours.
At Don Keelan 135 on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and you'll find all my sponsors there. Bimber, Concordia, Prize Guy, everyone who sponsors me, you'll find them all there. So at Don Keelan 135. And thank you, lad, anytime.
Of course. Caolan, thank you so much for taking the time as always. Guys, Caolan Loughran is back in the UFC at UFC
Up Philly.
304. He takes on Ramon Taveras next weekend. You will not want to miss this fight. Caolan, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you, lad, anytime.